This is our final test for the online people. Are we good? Time lag. Well, so while we're doing that, let me just say again, what a fabulous program by Joy and Mark. They recognize that we're smart, knowledgeable, and that we need tools. Part of our flock. So, part of our job as we're trying to decenter whiteness, etc., is to try to figure out how to make general meetings less based on white supremacist culture. But we didn't get to that. Oh, I do amuse myself sometimes. So we have a bunch of voting to do, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But first, I need to let you know something. I am in my second of 3 years as president, and I am stepping down at the end of this month because I've accepted a job for the UUA working for the Pacific Western region as a congregational life field. So that's how I feel, and I also feel very, very sad. This has been an extraordinary time to serve on the board, and I'm going to miss a bunch of stuff. So, but we wanted you to know that up front. Oh, I'm Annie Scott. See her, hers. So what will happen is I'll be off at the end of the month, which is kind of the normal transition date, and Lydia Nelson, our vice president, as is stated in our guidelines, will step in as president, and which was, talked about and approved by our incoming president-elect, Ms. Aisha Hasser. Not yet, we got to vote for it. Oh, that's right. You're just a person. Okay. You're just a person out there with a fancy name tag. You're nominated. Thank you, Aisha. See, she's going to do these kind of meetings really well. We are living in extraordinary times for our world, for our country, for our faith. They are filled with harm and pain, opportunity and hope. From my colleague, our colleague and friend, the Reverend Teresa Soto, to be free, you must embrace the breadth of your own experience without apology, even if they try to take it from you. You must know that you can do whatever you want. You are not a kudzu vine eating entire hillsides for the purpose of feeding your own lush life. You must know instead that inside you are entire universes, milky blue, magenta, gold, expanding. But to actually be free, you must know that you must fight for the entire universes inside everyone else. Being free is not a license, but a promise. Those of us with dominant identities are learning to follow, to listen, to see imperfectly and with celebration. We are not kudzu vines. Can I hear an affirmation for that? Yeah. No kudzu here. After last fall conference, which was opened by Julia Germán de la Fuente, who taught us about decentering whiteness, the board contracted her to work with us, to coach us to continue learning to decenter whiteness and other marginalized ways of being in the world, as well as doing the work of LREDA, which has been extraordinary. It's hard work, it's personal, it's relational, and it's about living into promises and a covenantal way of being, rather than a misguided understanding of freedom. How can we decenter whiteness cisgenderism, able-bodiedness, heterosexuality, classism of upper class? How can we recognize perfectionism, individualism, information over relationship, and either-or binary ways of thinking? How can we work less as individuals and more as the collective, as a we? As we release the cultural norm, we have to do everything alone. How can we build systems that invite more people into service and leadership? How can we recognize and not abuse the human capacity of the volunteer board and committees and financial capacity of our organization? How can we continue building relationships with our sibling organizations that equalize and strengthen all those who have ministries that serve our faith and our people? In the wake of that, the board has been practicing to live into the antidotes of white supremacist culture as we release and dismantle the culture of white supremacy. The work that has been happening with the administrators, musicians, membership professionals, ministers, credentialing bodies, and UUA around a code of common ethics and a common ethics accountability board will continue, whatever the vote today of UUMA. So in light of that, because I am learning how to honor my ancestors, we are doing the work on the board that is on the shoulders of those who have been on the boards before us. So would all those of you who have served on the LREDA board in the past, please rise. The Commission on Institutional Change will continue to inspire our work to transform the institutions of our faith. Guided by the universalist theology and words of our colleague Reverend Rebecca Parker and music by our musician colleague Beth Norton, let me just sing to you. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. May we be guided and live by the theology of our beloved faith as we continue to hold and grow and lead as liberal religious educators.
My name is Juliette Donaldson. I'm the LREDA board treasurer. She always does that. It's very embarrassing. I won't. No. Okay, well then, excuse me. Could you all do it with me? Thank you. My pronouns are she, her, hers. When I came on the board last summer, our goal was to center financial stewardship. And one of the first things we did was to look at our financial statements and go, that's scary. What do these numbers mean? They don't mean anything. So we did some work and we restructured the financial statements. There is a copy in your the board packet or the packet that you have, and there are a couple of copies on the table. And the LREDA board has worked there. The LREDA board have worked very hard to understand these financial statements and understand where they are. We have a picture of the board playing a game at our retreat, and if you look in the middle, that's Annie with her screen up because she's concentrating very hard. Taking it very seriously. I fried them with chocolate, so they pretty But one of the things that we noticed when we had redesigned these financial statements, scary, in that we were overspending our money, and we were overspending on just the basic things, just to keep our house, our doors open, just to employ carry, to fund the board. We are not raising enough money in our membership. So one of the things we will vote on today is a proposal to increase our dues by 10% next year, and to also set up a dues task force to look at how do we structure our dues going forward so that it is fair, equitable, but we can raise the money that we need to keep LREDA being this wonderful, as my minister said, activist organization that will continue to go out and make Unitarian Universalists the best it can be. So we will be voting on that in a while. If you are interested in taking part in this dues task force, Tim Atkins has already stepped up to help us out. If you are interested in helping out, we'd also love to have a Canadian too, because there's something funny financially, which I'm sure the Canadians can speak to. I'm not quite sure I understand it, but please okay, so what else do I have to say? Oh, so our budget, we want to spend, we have a wonderful endowment, and we are very lucky to have that endowment. I want to say thank you to everybody who has donated to that. But we want that donation, the money from the endowment, the money that we got, about a conservative estimate, it's about $20,000 a year. We don't want to use that money just to keep the doors open. We want to use that to make LREDA better, to make Unitarian Universalists better. So we are budgeting to spend that $20,000 on dismantling white supremacy further, first within LREDA and then in the wider world, and then to support our good officers who really need the support in these changing times, and to support our chapters too. So that is where our endowment distribution, which Annie understands now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. That's where we want that money to go. So I am now going to pass it over to LREDA.
Thank you, Juliet. I am Linnea Nelson, and I am your vice president for the next. We raised $931 for Brown. I'm Linnea Nelson, and I'm your vice president for that. And then I will be stepping into your which I am very, very honored to look forward to working with all of you. As an example of the kind of inclusion and transparency that our board has been working on is we are starting some town meetings. And many of you were a part of our budget town meeting in May. And it was just so helpful to have people talking with us and sharing their concerns. So there will be other town meetings online that you will all be invited to. And I hope that you will take the time to be a part of these, be a thought partner with all of us on the board so that we can work forward for you on behalf of LREDA. We've also had, as Annie mentioned, Julica Herman de la Fuente, who has been working with us, and we wanted to have her voice tell you in her words what we've been up to.
Hello, colleagues. I am Julica, and I am making this recording for you because I am not able to be with you in person at professional days. I am either down the hall or down the street. I'm not sure how far away we are, but I have UUMA responsibilities. And so Annie and the LREDA board asked me to put this video together to tell you a little bit about the work that we've been doing and share my excitement about upcoming things. So back last fall, after I spent some time with you at FallCon, which was so much fun, Annie reached out to me and said, we need help decentering white supremacy culture in the way the board works and in LREDA itself, and would you consult her? And I said yes. I said yes, not really sure what we were going into because we are all figuring it out as we go, right? Like, none of us know how to do this completely. Some of us have some hunches, some of us have some experience, but this is very much a journey of discovery and exploration. And it's been a delight for me to do this work with your board, and I want to tell you just a little bit about it. I guess the way that I'll frame it is, in April, your board met in person for their regular annual meeting, but it was not the meeting that usually is. And most of my work has been preparing us for that time, and then now, since that meeting, moving forward and figuring out what next and how to operate. That meeting was really exciting for me. We gathered in the outskirts of Boston for a few days, and I got to experience what it's like to really let things emerge and to follow rhythms of the group and trust building rather than following the agenda and doing everything on time and being rigid and structured in the way that we usually are in our organizational practices in order to feel efficient. And it was really wonderful to do it differently. And there were many learnings for me and for the board. And moving forward, I think we're going to continue to figure out how does the board operate in ways that is actively decentering whiteness and actively decentering the traditional ways of functioning in organizations. And I'm very excited for what's coming next as you are welcoming some new board members and saying thank you and goodbye to others. And so I would like to offer you two requests as we continue to move forward in this work. My first request is be ready to participate, because more and more we want to build a culture of accountability and connection and participation for you as members of LREDA. I think that's going to be very powerful, and we're going to continue to find ways that you can say, this works, this could be different, this would be better, this is really not serving us. So be ready to participate when you receive invitations, which we hope that you will be receiving in the near future. And then the second request that I have for you, or invitation, is to be patient, because we are still trying to figure out exactly how we do this, exactly what we want to do next, what is the right way, and institutions move very slowly in general. A board that is a volunteer board that does all of the work to keep LREDA afloat needs even more time to do the internal work. So we're working at two layers at once, right? We're still making sure that FalCon happens, but then we're also thinking about what are the ways in which we do FalCon and prepare for FalCon that are not serving us in. So I am looking forward to this ongoing work with your board, and I thank you for your enthusiasm and for your support as we continue to do this. I hope you're having a great time in professional days, and I look forward to seeing you in the hallways and General Assembly over the next couple of days. Make sure you say hi. See you later.
So, she's here. So one quick story about the experience of working with her, which is both exhilarating and painful, because that is about change, right, Joy? That hard little cocoon I'm in. Well, so we're working together, we're doing our work, we're learning, and I say, Julika, don't you think we're doing a really good job preparing our board? I know, you know what's coming. So we're doing a really good job preparing for the two people of color in particular who are coming onto the board, getting ready. And she says, Annie? And you know when she does that smile and says, Annie? She says, can I take a moment of coaching with you? Yes. She says, it really feels like you're asking for some good white person points. Right? So that's a little story for my white people. So I want to just express deep, deep gratitude for Julika. And also want to thank Liz Jones. Where are you? Liz Jones, past board member, who is serving as our parliamentarian. And just so you know, we haven't gotten to it yet, but we recognize that Robert's Rules of Order is all about white supremacy. And so on the list of things to get to is to look at other ways of having these meetings. And at this point, thank you, Liz, for helping us keep us in order today. So that's going to be a task force team, is to look at that issue. So now we need a vote. Last year's minutes.
If you don't mind.
It takes a village to keep this president going in order. Okay, Andrea, what are we doing? Oh, we're voting on membership dues. Thank you.
So the motion we have is to, the board, puts forward a motion to increase the dues this year by 10% and to establish a task force to look at, future structure for membership dues. So, could I have a second? Did you get that, Andrea? Yeah. All in favor?
No.
Oh, discussion, sorry.
Discussion?
Let's do it.
I have a gift. Online question. Now I'm really proud of myself. Are there online discussion comments? Do I have to wait? Ask the room again. Any discussion here?
Oh, over here. Oh.
Do we have a mic?
What you're asking. Discussion is about the motion.
The question from offsite is to make sure that you all understand that we can't raise dues without a vote from you. That's why we're bringing that to you. Yes.
Tracy Sprouse from the Sharing Church of All Souls in New York City. I just have a question of clarification, actually. I heard Juliet say there's going to be a task force, but I didn't hear how to be part of that. I only heard that Tim stepped forward. So I was wondering, how do you get involved?
Excellent.
Just let me know.
Oh,
So you're volunteering. Okay, good. Okay. All right, you're all set.
board@LREDA.org. They always use the board.
Great. Any other questions, discussions?
Hi, Judith Steinfeld from Orlando. I'm looking at the budgets, and I'm using my reading glasses and my magnifying glass. Can you give us a generalized explanation of what that translates to in what we're paying?
Well, that's a Juliet question.
Yeah.
You need to read the motion.
Oh,
So the motion is the motion to increase membership dues by 10% across all levels in 2019-20. The task force to be formed to investigate further changes.
my question.
I don't think they
what
can.
exactly does that mean numbers-wise? For my credit card.
Okay, so it's a 10% increase on what you paid last year. So it's what, 185, has it gone up to the regular 192?
Comment?
What is the proposed timeline for the task force? And will there be a vote to implement any changes?
We'll probably start setting up the task force in September, and the vote will happen next year. We have to get the membership approval to change the dues, so that has to happen next year.
So let's vote. I get to do that, right, Liz? Okay. All in favor, please hold your yellow card up. All opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. It's a pass. One abstention.
So our next motion is to pass the budget for 2019, 2020. We actually have the wording. Could you put the wording up? Oh, okay, that's it. So could I have a second? The motion is to accept the LREDA budget for 2019-20 as presented. Okay, that was Jules. Discussion.
Discussion in the room? Questions? Anything from online folks?
I'm answering a question about online.
Oh.
Someone ask a question.
I mean, it's better than na 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 na. Let's vote on which of those hums you Yes, we have a question. Maybe it's about humming or maybe it's about, oh yeah.
No, sorry, my question's on money. My name's Ariel, and I'm from the North Shore Unitarian Church in West End, BC. And my question was that you talked about that investigating or raising dues as part of making up the shortfall that we're experiencing. I'll speak to other plans around how to raise more money to do the work we're doing.
I think one of the things we need to focus on is looking at grants that are available. But I think that the normal operating expenses that we have, we should really fund this through membership dues. You know, that should be the core. So really that is our goal. And like the UUMA has a sort of sliding scale, I think, depending on the salary. So we could go towards something similar to that.
That's what Jasper's.
Have somebody send me a comment. Okay, they're asking. They're asking to please repeat the comments because they can't hear the questions on the floor. So when you're giving an answer, please repeat.
Even if they're speaking into a mic.
Because the microphone that's micing is that one.
Got
there,
it.
not-
Got it. Yeah.
So the question was, are we just focusing on changing membership dues? How else are we going to make up that shortfall? And the answer was, well, you put the answer. The answer was really it needs to come from membership.
Any other discussion, questions? Call the question. All in favor, please raise your card. Yep, I called the question.
You don't need to call, you don't have to.
Let's vote. Please raise your yellows. Thank you. All opposed? Thank you. The other one, abstentions. Thank you, it's a pass. So I just, have a practice of imperfection and I intentionally touched it. Here's the minutes. Thank you. So we'd like you to approve the minutes, which have been available to you from our last meeting, 2018, a year ago. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Questions, comments, offline? Excellent. Let's vote. Accepting the minutes, all in favor? Thank you. All opposed? Excellent. Abstentions? Ooh, yeah, it's abstention. 2? Excellent. Thank you. Pass.
Okay, more voting. Following the LREDA Nominating Committee 2018 report, which has been sent to you, and thanks to their leadership, the Board of Trustees proposes the following changes to Article 6,
nominating committee and election. The board proposes a motion to amend Article 6, nominating committee and elections of the LREDA bylaws as follows.
Article 6, nominating committee and elections. There shall be a nominating committee of 3 persons. That's the old one. So let's read it. There shall be a nominating committee of 5 persons instead of 3. They shall be elected at the annual meeting for 3-year terms as follows. 1 year, 2 members. In year 2, 2 members. Year 3, 1 member. A chairperson shall be elected by the committee each year. In each year of the 3-year election cycle, the nominating committee shall choose 1 or more candidates for 1 position on the nominating committee and 1 or more candidates for each open position on the board of trustees as follows. In year 1, president, treasurer, and 1 trustee at large. In year 2, vice president and 1 trustee at large. In year 3, secretary, president-elect, and 1 trustee at large. The nominating committee is also responsible for nominating positions to committees of the board.
So the main,
I just have an online
Yeah.
comment.
okay, I'm about to ask for that. So I'm going to tell you the differences first, and then I'm going to ask for
This
this.
has to do with something else.
Okay.
They're asking how are online votes being included in current voting. I imagine they're negligible, but it at least appears that we need, that Annie is just looking at rooms votes and some acknowledgement of online votes too would be appreciated.
Okay, we'll start capturing those.
Online with the microphone?
It's not working.
From the podium?
Can you repeat that, Brian?
Okay, the offline, the online folks are wondering how we are capturing their votes. And Andrea, I think your microphone is working. Maybe you should come up here.
Online voting closed at noon yesterday. There isn't voting happening in the moment this year, but we're hoping to get to that in the future. So I already have the information about how the online votes fell, and they are being included in the minutes, and they will be included in the totals. And if there's any way that they could sway the decision in this room, I will let you know.
Thank you. So in the long motion that Annie read, the main changes are that our nominating committee has been working with 3 people to fill not only the board, but also the committees, some of the committees on the board. And we want, it's another way to be more inclusive is to have more people on the nominating committee because they know more of you and more people for you to connect with. Also, that means with the change of cycle that they will be electing their own chairperson. And it does not mean that just because you've been on a certain amount of time, you become the chair because of the new number. So is there any discussion about that? Any questions? And Katie is here. Judith. Could you go back?
Yeah.
And I'm looking to see if I'm missing the answer in the motion. So I
Go ahead and ask.
Is there a limit to how many times a person can be chairperson?
Whoa.
Is it in there and I missed it?
No, it's not in there.
No. So the question is, how many times, is there anything that suggests how many times someone can be chairperson? It is not in there. And I will add that we are asking you, when we go through our voting process, to also affirm that Katie Cartman, who has been the chair this past year, will continue 1 more year as chair because of all these changes. It just doesn't work out to the next person moving in, and we're so appreciative, but we will be affirming that as part of our voting. Any other questions, discussion? Online?
So it would mean though that somebody could be chair for 3 years. That's what Liz's fingers meant. Yeah, thank
That's
you.
the maximum.
Yeah. So, further discussion? Let's vote. All in favor, please raise your card. Thank you. All opposed? Thank you. Abstentions? Thank you. And I thought it was a really great question, the online question, by the way. So this year, there are 3 people leaving UUA positions that have done lots and lots of good in serving religious educators and religious education in our faith. So we would just like to recognize Pat Kahn and Andrea Lerner, please, and Bart Frost. Lisa Maria. So this year, we made a decision to have a special gift made for people when they go off the board, recognizing that it's an important service and we wanted a special token. So we had a pendant designed and made. And Betsy Brown has a booth in the exhibit hall. Now, can't buy these, but has other kinds of jewelry. Just saying. So Andrea, James. Yeah, you need to come up. Her little fingers over there are very busy. And I must say, she hates coming up in front. So Andrea has been our secretary. And she makes things run well. She knows where things are. If we're in a meeting and don't know where something is, where we might keep something, or can't remember something, Andrea always knows where it is. And she loves to laugh. And she has dug into the work of white supremacy in herself and in our institution with vigor and humility and with humor. So thank you, Andrea.
Oh, Canada. So Lily, wherever you are, come on, please. So Lily is also leaving us, and I've had the joy of working with you over the past year, although she's been working for all of you for the last 3 years. And her vision, her perseverance for creating experiences that challenge us, they also uplift us, and they hold all of us at Fall Con and in our professional days. Thank you, Lily. Annie. Oh. Yeah. For your commitment to modeling vulnerability, dedicating your heart and soul. It's a very big heart. To LREDA and persevering and upholding all that is right and good in the world. And stepping into the challenge wherever we can do better and being a beacon of so much love. Thank you.
quite get the normal time to prepare for leaving. I didn't know I got the job till, last week. So thank you. Am I done?
Which means I found out on Friday too.
Okay, tell them I didn't completely surprise.
She didn't completely, but I will be asking for all of your help, and that's why these task meetings that we keep talking about, we'll be announcing them in as many ways as possible. We so hope that you will join us. So now I would love to introduce Kate Hartman, our nominating chair, who's done such a fabulous job, and she's going to tell you about our slate.
So there's a new sign outside, and it'll be at the LREDA booth. It says, you can't spell LREDA without leaders. And yeah, you got some extra letters. The image that's coming to my mind today is of one of those old-fashioned farm raisins, where you head over to somebody's property, you build something that did not exist the day before, you have a good meal, you have a sense of satisfaction in what you have done, and that building stands, not just for that one family for some discrete length of time, but a long, long time, for generations. LREDA is at a stage where we are professionalizing and we are becoming this amazing place to hold everybody's gifts and to do all the work that needs to be. And that means that we need the folks and the passion to do those things that need the doing. The nominating committee has been working very hard on any number of things, but especially procedures, ways to get the message out. We have Google Forms, you guys. I did not leave a half sheet of paper on your table for you to fill out that then I have to take home, try to read your handwriting, and input it into an Excel sheet that gets lost. Instead, we have 2 pages, and these blue pieces of paper on your table, I even learned how to make cute links. So the first one, which is on your card, is called the Awesomeness Inventory. And you get to tell us who you are, what your gifts are, what you would love to be able to get to do more of. So if there's something that you did before you were a religious educator that you miss, whether it's grant writing or worship or who knows what, let us know. Accounting, yeah. We also have the brag page. That link is not on here, but it will be on the sign. And that's for if you have a colleague. If you sat down at the table today and got talking to somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, this person is amazing and LREDA needs to know more about them. This creates a resource that not only non-com can pull from, but when the board says, hey, we're thinking about a task force, who has shown an interest in XYZ? We can hand them a list of names. And we are seeing positive change. When I first joined the committee, it felt kind of like, oh crap, who are we going to dig up to do this thing? And y'all, we all do recruiting for a living, so you know what I'm saying about when you're working from that place, it's hard. But now we have people showing interest. One of the committees said, we need a couple new people. We opened up the inventory and we're like, whoa, 7 people interested in that work. It involves giving money for new ideas, so yeah, it's a sexy committee. But be open to the ask, share your talents. We might say to you, hey, have you considered XYZ? Or if you're not ready for it now, what needs to shift in your life so that in 3 years, you're ready for this thing? Be open to it. So, nominating, we did the nominating committee first, right? Our current slate, our current members are Ty, Katie Resendez, and Jermaine Cripe, who were not able to be here, and me. And then we are inviting to join us, and we hope that you will affirm this in just a minute or two, Iris De La Paz, who is here today. And Sam Wilson. We had a call last week with all 5 of us, and they learned that, yes, we really do have fun on our calls. And the party has begun, and we hope that you can help us to continue that. So, do I get to make a motion? This is exciting now. Make the motion to elect the slate of nominees for the LREDA Nominating Committee as put forth by LREDA Nominating. Iris Del Paz and Sam Wilson.
We have to have discussion on this.
Well, we need to have a second.
A second. Thank you. Now do we have to have discussion? Liz? Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion? Want to talk about how fabulous it is? They want to be on the awesomeness, yes. Online?
We don't.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we hold off on the vote because now we'll have the board nominations. This is how we beat non-white supremacists. Thank you, Aisha. So all in favor of our nominees for nominating committee, please. Maybe you could cheer while you. Thank you, thank you. And no votes? Abstentions? Woo-hoo! Thank you, Iris and Sam.
Now, board. We're really excited this year. We asked just generally, hey, put up a call. We did specific asks of people of we would like to get an application from you. We looked at what people had already submitted all on their own, even before the period had opened. And really had a rich time seeing all the gifts that people were willing to share with us. So the slate that we're putting forward for this year is Aisha Hauser as our president-elect. Come on, give me a beauty wave. Christina Rivera as secretary. And Eleanor Van Dusen, a member at large, will be I'd like to make a motion to elect this slate of nominees to the LREDA Board of Trustees.
Thank you. Discussion?
Who will be the new incoming board?
Wow, what a great idea. Would the board stand who's continuing? The question is, who will be on the board? Lisa Maria, Jules, Linnea, Juliet, Aisha, Christina, Eleanor. Oh, yes, and the vice president, the board will name a vice president who will serve a 2-year term. Okay? So now, discussion? Online? Phew. All in favor? Little cheering. Excellent. I'm learning about celebrating. All those opposed? Abstentions? Oh, now what?
You actually asked to affirm me, and you probably want to affirm me.
Oh, let's affirm Katie. We affirmed Katie Cartman as the nominating chair for another year. Thank you, Andrea, for keeping me honest.
Hello, everyone. So we are celebrating our newly credentialed religious educators. Some are amongst us, some we have pictures of all of them, but most are not with us. We have some. And they're also going to be celebrated on Thursday evening at the Service of Living Tradition. So please be there to scream and yell and clap and make a scene about how awesome it is to have credentialed religious educators. And then we will be doing a formal appreciation with gifts and laying on hands at all times. So we can move our names, you can see who they are. So we have Darlene Anderson Alexander and a ready for a tub, Ken Atkins. And Steve Cooper, Dana Edwards. Marjorie Mills and Mia Norris. And Sarah Sauter and Rowan Van Ness.
I think this is going to be quick. I would like to invite all those people who had a role in today, in the preparation and in the presentation, to stand up. And as well as the board. Carrie, Kopnick, for your communications and everything else that you do. Thank you. And thanks to Mark. Mark Hicks, Joy Berry, Laura Weiss, and Sarah Jevian, who are the musicians, as well as the worship associates, Aria, Emily, and Michelle. And to the slides, we'd like to invite you all to attend the FAWS lecture, which is tomorrow, Building a Community of Communities with Paula Cole-Jones. And then on Saturday night, C.B. Beale has been awarded the Angus McLean Award, and you are all invited to attend the closing ceremonies on Saturday night. We'll honor them. Next year's or this year's Fall Con in Baltimore, we have a wonderful slate, and we hope to see you all there. Thank you very much.
So I think it's all right if I share this with you. That Elias, who is the incoming in a few days Meadville Lombard president, sees himself as a religious educator and shared with me that the code of ethics that he has chosen to sign in his new position is the LREDA code of ethics.
So I invite you to rise and body your spirit as we commit to our community, our belonging to and with one another in our leaving today.
And I just would like to point out, we got you out of here early. So this is the song Walking With You Is My Prayer. And in the spirit of accessibility, we're not singing the walking, we are singing, loving, and leading. Singing with you, singing with you is my prayer. Loving with you, loving with you is my prayer. Leading with you, leading with you is my prayer. And again, singing with you, singing with you is my prayer. Loving with you, loving with you is my prayer. May we go forth and make this faith and this world the place we dream of it being. Please say yes when asked to serve. Have a wonderful GA.